or share this message with y'all. So I feel like it's somebody out here, or maybe it's just a bunch of people out here that need to hear this. And it was like, you thought you was special.
What up, though? Boss of all bosses. And today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you got, you trying to make it go up, hit me right now.
The beef between 50 Cent and Big Meech is officially on. Snitch accusations, corrupt federal officers, charges.
Well, 50 Cent is celebrating the W after Rick Ross announced that the Big Meech concert he had been heavily promoting is canceled. Now, Ross did not give a reason as to why the concert was suddenly canceled out of the blue, but 50 made a post suggesting that the reason is because other BMF members are coming out to expose Big Meech.
It's the real Lil Meech. I need everybody to stop and support my dog. He got his new brand, Mogul. Killing shit, yeah. Yeah, that's like... Yeah.
What's the best memory of 50 Cent?
Best memory of 50 Cent? Ever since I met 50 Cent, he's always been stand up and probably the most truthful person I've ever met. You know, everything he tells me, he stands on it. You know, and that's important in life, loyalty and morals, and actually meaning what you say.
I love that.
And ever since I've known him, he's always meant what he says.
Hell yeah.
Shout out 50 Cent.
You ever heard that saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? Well, no one's proving that more than 50 Cent's son, Marquise Jackson, because he just threw himself right in the middle of this whole mess between Lil Meech, Big Meech, and his dad. And let's just say he's having a field day trolling them. But here's the kicker. 50 Cent is not amused. Word is he wasn't happy at all about his son sticking his nose in the drama, and he apparently warned him to step back unless he wanted to get caught in the crossfire.
I don't think the relationship works. Look, for a long time, telling me I went running behind him. I went places that he went, and he left.
He believes that, from his perspective, he thinks I'm entitled when that's not the case. Like, it's never been about the money for me. It's more so the relationship, and for me personally, like it's more so for the relationship, more than the money to me. Because if it's about the money, then I'm willing to put it up to make at least make the situation a little bit better, if possible.
Meanwhile, Lil Meech has been blowing up 50's DMs, desperately trying to prove his loyalty and insist that his dad isn't a rat. But honestly, every new update in this drama just makes things even wilder. Like, is 50 Cent actually threatening his own son over a beef with some other people? And does Lil Meech seriously think begging is going to make 50 back down? Yeah, let's break this all down.
It's the real Lil Meech. I need everybody to stop and support my dog. He got his new brand, Mogul. Killing shit, yeah. Yeah, that's like...
You thought you was special. You really thought you was special? Who told you you was special?
50 don't do nothing but tear down black man. Look at it. He's nothing giving. You've never seen 50 give nobody no flowers, no respect. He just play on people downfall. Diddy, Irv Gotti, Ja Rule. Yeah. Now Big Meech. You've never seen 50 say nothing positive, do nothing positive. He's a culture vulture.
A bully.
Don't be walking around with this shit by yourself.
I'm walking around with you. I'm only walking around with you with that motherfucker on. If I ain't with you, I don't want it.
This shit come with the Draco. This shit come with the Draco. Come with the Draco. Still, this shit come with the Draco.
I got a text from some very credible dudes who said they pressed 50 to take down all the Big Meech posts, right? Once again, I got the text, I read it out loud, I was on...
I don't even know if a sit down can actually restore the situation. It's just more so it's an olive branch. Like, if you up for it, I'm up for it.
This 50 Cent versus Big Meech drama, it's not just some petty internet beef anymore. Their sons are now a part of the chaos, and what started as just a little back and forth is turning into a full-blown family feud. Shots are flying, and at this point, it's looking multi-generational. And here's where it gets wild. 50 Cent and Big Meech weren't always enemies. In fact, they used to be cool. Not just that, they were actually business partners. But you know how it goes. When money's involved, friendships don't always last.
What's up, y'all? I woke up today and I had this overwhelming thought in my head, and I think like something is telling me to to tell y'all or share this message with y'all. So I feel like it's somebody out here, or maybe it's just a bunch of people out here that need to hear this. And it was like, you thought you were special. You really thought you were special. Who told you you were special? You thought you were special.
The whole mess really kicked off when Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross for a welcome home concert scheduled for February 13, 2025. As most people know by now, Big Meech recently got out of prison after serving almost 20 years. But before he got locked up, he was running one of the biggest and most dangerous crime organizations in the U.S. Alongside his brother, Terry Southwest T. Flannery, he built the Black Mafia family, BMF, narcotic ring and money laundering empire that operated from the 1980s all the way into the early 2000s. At one point, they even dipped into the music industry to expand their reach. In 2005, things went south. The DEA and FBI raided multiple BMF safe houses, seizing millions in cash, guns. Soon after, Big Meech, Southwest T, and other top members were arrested. The brothers faced serious charges: substance exploitation, money laundering, and conspiracy. In 2008, after a messy trial, both were sentenced to 30 years. At their peak, they made over $270 million, but by the time they were locked up, most of it was gone, burned on legal fees and supporting Meech's family. Once out, Meech wasted no time. He teamed up with Rick Ross for a welcome home concert to make quick cash while waiting on his BMF series earnings.
But it's not. When Big Meech appeared in a video with 50 Cent's longtime rival Rick Ross, the internet knew 50 wouldn't hesitate to respond.
Well, 50 Cent is celebrating the W after Rick Ross announced that the Big Meech concert he had been heavily promoting is canceled. Now, Ross did not give a reason as to why the concert was suddenly canceled out of the blue, but 50 made a post suggesting that the reason is because other BMF members are to expose Big Meech.
Now, if you're out of the loop, BMF, Black Mafia Family, isn't just a real-life crime empire, it's also a TV series based on Big Meech's story. His own son, Demetrius Flannery Jr., aka Lil Meech, plays him on the show, while Haitian-American actor Da Vinci plays his brother Southwest T.
What's the best memory of 50 Cent?
Best memory of 50 Cent? Ever since I met 50 Cent, he's always been stand-up and probably the most truthful person I've ever met. You know, everything he tells me, he stands on it. You know, and that's important in life: loyalty and morals, and actually meaning what you say.
I love that.
And ever since I've known him, he's always meant what he says.
Hell yeah.
Shout out 50 Cent.
Well, 50 Cent is making sure Lil Meech lands on his feet. After warning fans that he would cancel the BMF series, 50 is now working behind the scenes to get Lil Meech casted on Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta. Yeah, man, 50 is in go mode, and he's trying to do the BMF crew the same way he did Ja Rule.
And guess who's running the show? 50 Cent. His production company, G-Unit Films, is one of the main producers, alongside Tammy Cowans, the woman Big Meech sold his life rights to. The contract details are a mystery, but it's widely believed that Big Meech gets a share of the profits. The problem? The next season hasn't even been announced yet, which means no checks are coming his way anytime soon.
What up, though? Boss of all bosses. And today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you got, you trying to make it go up, hit me right now.
That's where Rick Ross comes in. The collaboration made sense for Big Meech, but 50 Cent saw it as a straight-up betrayal. Why? Because Rick Ross used to be a correctional officer, and if there's one person 50 Cent doesn't trust, it's a former CO. In 50's eyes, Ross is still the same Officer Ricky he was back in the day, and watching Big Meech cozy up to him, yeah, 50 wasn't having it. When 50 Cent saw Big Meech hanging around Rick Ross, he wasn't about to let that slide. Instead, he went straight to Instagram and called Big Meech a rat, making it loud and clear where he stood. In one post, 50 Cent claimed that Big Meech's biggest mistake was not keeping his ties with Tammy Cowans, hinting that her tell-all documentary would expose everything. He didn't stop there. He followed up with another post sharing an image that read, "The truth and nothing but the truth. BMF. Who is Tammy Cowans?"
50 don't do nothing but tear down black men. Look at it. He's nothing given. You've never seen 50 give nobody no flowers, no respect. He just play on people downfall. Diddy, Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, now Big Meech. You've never seen 50 say nothing positive, do nothing positive. He's a culture vulture to me.
Bully.
For one, this is a business relationship, right? They don't write stories and series on nobodies, right? So BMF is BMF, but not because of 50, it's because of Big Meech, right? That's his story, that's his life. Right, so I don't think 50 doing them no favors. They both profited, right? It ain't just like it was a one-sided deal. We both made money together. Right? That don't mean I owe you no loyalty. That don't mean I can't go get money elsewhere, right? If more money get presented to me, right, I'm gonna go get me a bag. I just did 20 years in prison, right? I'm not gonna let nobody stop no bags come in because of y'all beef, bro.
Don't be walking around with this shit by yourself.
I'm walking around with you. I'm only walking around with you with that motherfucker on. If I ain't with you, I don't want it.
This shit come with the Draco. This shit come with the Draco. Come with the Draco. Still, this shit come with the Draco.
What you think about it though, Fire? How I feel?
This shit feel good. Wait, get the straps.
And if that wasn't enough, he hyped it up even more, saying this documentary was going to blow people's minds because the facts are stranger than fiction. At this point, fans were confused and curious. Who exactly is Tammy Cowans? And what kind of secrets was 50 Cent talking about? Well, it all comes back to Big Meech's prison sentence. As most people know, Big Meech was sentenced to 30 years in prison in 2008. But what really had people talking was how he managed to get out much earlier than expected. That's when rumors started flying. Some claimed that Big Meech had cut a deal with the feds, allegedly snitching on someone else to secure his release. According to inside sources, it was Tammy Cowans who helped broker that deal. The story goes that Big Meech had to give the feds something big, and apparently he chose his longtime friend and business partner, St. Louis substance kingpin, Dion Cuffy Gatling. But here's the thing, Big Meech and Cuffy weren't just business associates. They were close, almost like family. In fact, Big Meech was like an uncle to Cuffy's daughter, Tamara Gatling. So if these rumors were true, it would mean he turned on someone who was practically blood.
Tamara Gatling, I'm making this recording in regards to my dad. He's Dion Gatling. Most people know him as Cuffy. But I wanted to make this recording so I can shed light on some facts. My dad was set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle. Like, this situation has been completely devastating on so many different levels, and there's still so many questions that aren't answered. At this point, I can only shed light on what I know for sure to be facts, and hopefully one day I will have the complete truth.
At first it was just rumors, but then Tamara Gatling came forward and confirmed what people had been speculating. Big Meech had set up Cuffy. According to her, when the family found out, they were devastated, and her father felt completely betrayed. But here's the twist. She said Big Meech didn't do it alone. He allegedly had help from federal informant Tammy Cowans.
But in 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cowans. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie. Finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew exactly who CS1 was, and he told me and my mom that it was Tammy Cowans. At that time, we really did not want to believe. We wanted to give Meech the benefit of the doubt. It was really, really hard to believe that Meech would set my dad up. It was almost unbelievable. So we were able to reach out, get a message to Meech, and basically let him know that Tammy was an informant.
In a recording she shared, Tamara explained that she was speaking out for her father, Dion Cuffy Gatling. She wanted people to know the truth and clear up any confusion. She revealed that her dad and Big Meech had been close for over 30 years, not just as business partners, but as real friends. She had known Meech her whole life, even looked at him as an uncle. That's what made the situation even harder to accept. She admitted that to this day, there were still a lot of unanswered questions, but she was only sharing what she knew to be true. Tamara then broke down how it all started. Around 2011, Big Meech reached out to her dad with an idea to work on a BMF movie. That's when he introduced Cuffy to Tammy Cowans, a woman who, at the time, had power of attorney over Meech and owned the rights to his life story.
I got a text from some very credible dudes who said they pressed 50 to take down all the Big Meech posts, right? Once again, I got the text, I read it out loud, I was on.
At first, it seemed like a business move, but when Cuffy was later arrested and the family received the court documents, they saw something shocking. Cuffy immediately knew who had snitched on him. Tamara said that her father looked at her and her mom and told them that it was Tammy Cowans all along. At first, Cuffy's family didn't want to believe it. The idea that Big Meech could betray someone so close just didn't seem real. They tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, hoping that maybe, just maybe, there was some kind of explanation. Tamara later admitted that it was almost impossible to believe at first. The thought that Meech could have set up her father just didn't sit right. Still, as the evidence piled up, the family couldn't ignore it anymore. Eventually, they were able to get message to Big Meech, letting him know that Tammy Cowans was actually a federal informant. But instead of denying or confirming anything, Meech brushed it off, saying it had to be some kind of misunderstanding. He even suggested that they just call Tammy and let her clear things up. At that point, Cuffy wasn't buying it at all. To him, the situation was obvious, and he wasn't about to fall for it. He straight up refused to call an informant, knowing exactly what that could mean for him. Meanwhile, over in 50 Cent's world, he was done with Big Meech's so-called loyalty. First, it was Tammy Cowans, and now Rick Ross, another person 50 Cent had zero trust in. And just like that, he made the decision that left fans speechless. BMF was not getting another season. To make things even wilder, 50 went to Instagram posting screenshots of text messages from Big Meech's son, Lil Meech, and he made sure to throw some shade with this caption, "What next season?" In the texts, Lil Meech wasn't backing down. He defended his father, saying the only reason Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross was for the money, not to betray 50 Cent. He felt like 50 had the whole thing twisted. In the messages, Lil Meech called out 50 for unfollowing him on Instagram and accused him of managing Skillababy, someone he had introduced to 50 in the first place. He seemed genuinely hurt, saying he had always been loyal and would literally give 50 the shirt off his back. He didn't get why 50 was acting like he was an enemy when all he had ever done was show him love. Then he took a shot at Rick Ross, making it clear that he wasn't a fan, but also admitted that at the end of the day, Ross had helped Big Meech financially. That's all it was. No loyalty switch, just business. But before things could settle, 50 Cent's son, Marquise Jackson, jumped in and started trolling Lil Meech.
I woke up today and I had this overwhelming thought in my head. And I think like something is telling me to tell y'all or share this message with y'all. Cause I feel like it's somebody out here, or maybe there's a bunch of people out here that need to hear this. And it was like, you thought you were special.
Marquise mocked Lil Meech for thinking he was special, saying he had this overwhelming thought that he just had to share, basically clowning the idea that anyone ever told Lil Meech he was different from the rest. Now, while fans thought it was funny, the streets were saying 50 Cent wasn't amused at all. Allegedly, he warned Marquise to stay out of his business and not insert himself into his fights. And honestly, that wouldn't be surprising. 50 and Marquise have had a rocky relationship for years. For those who don't know, 50 Cent wasn't the one who raised Marquise. After he split from Shanika Tompkins, Marquise was raised by his mother, and things between father and son have never really been the same. After 50 Cent and Shanika Tompkins split, things didn't just end there. They ended up in a long, messy custody battle over Marquise. The fight dragged on for years, and it wasn't until 2008 that they finally reached a legal agreement. During that time, 50 Cent opened up about the situation in an MTV interview, admitting that his relationship with Marquise had changed, all because things with Shaniqua had turned sour. At one point, 50 explained how complicated things had gotten, saying that he couldn't even reach his son directly because court-appointed lawyers were in the middle of everything. He felt like the dynamic between him and Marquise's mother had completely shifted, especially when the money stopped flowing the way it used to. He claimed she had said things about him that he never expected, and he didn't hold back on his frustration. Because of his rocky relationship with Marquise's mother, it wasn't long before 50's issues with her started affecting his bond with his son. Over time, he became convinced that both Shaniqua and Marquise felt entitled and only cared about his money. Legally, 50 Cent still had visitation rights. He was allowed to see Marquise one weekend a month and split holidays and vacations with his mother. But despite what the custody agreement said on paper, it seemed like the father-son bond was already broken. A source later told People magazine that while 50 Cent financially supported Marquise until he turned 18, the two had actually been estranged for years. Even Marquise had spoken about the falling out, saying that things really started going downhill when he was around 10 or 11 years old. But if things weren't bad enough, 50 Cent made it worse in 2018 when he dropped a comment that shocked the internet. After seeing a picture of Marquise standing with the son of his longtime rival, Kenneth Supreme McGriff, 50 Cent took things way too far. He basically said that if both of them got hit by a bus, he wouldn't feel a thing. And just like that, the internet went crazy. Even for 50 Cent, people felt like this was way out of line. But according to a source close to the situation, Marquise wasn't exactly innocent either. The source said that he had a habit of provoking 50, saying that whenever 50 had drama with someone online, Marquise would go out of his way to connect with that person and post about it. Then in October 2022, things hit a new low. Marquise publicly offered to pay his dad $6,700, the same amount 50 used to pay in child support, just for 24 hours of his time. In the post, Marquise made it clear that he didn't want the money, he just wanted to spend time with his dad, to finally do the things they never got to do when he was a kid.
I don't even know if a sit down can actually restore the situation. It's just more so it's an olive branch. Like, if you up for it, I'm up for it. I'm definitely willing to sit down with him and so I can hear his perspective and gain a little bit of understanding. I mean, like, we're both men at the end of the day. We should be able to agree and disagree and it not be a problem. He believes that from his perspective, he thinks I'm entitled when that's not the case. Like, it's never been about the money for me. It's more so the relationship and for me personally. Like, it's more so for the relationship, more than the money to me. Because if it's about the money, then I'm willing to put it up to make at least make the situation a little bit better, if possible. Honestly, I don't know what to expect from the situation. If we do have a sit down, I don't necessarily know what to expect or what it looks like. But if it takes me paying him for his time, I'm more than willing to do that. Maybe we could just gain understanding of each other. Maybe we could understand each other a little bit better.
People saw this as a cry for help. It was obvious that he wanted a real relationship with his father, and that he was hoping that this public plea would finally get 50's attention. But it didn't work. Marquise later admitted that he wasn't even sure if a sit-down could fix things. But at this point, he just wanted to extend an olive branch. He said if 50 Cent was open to it, then so was he. In his mind, they were both grown men, and they should be able to agree to disagree without it being a problem. He felt like 50 saw him as entitled, but for him, it was never about the money, it was always about the relationship. And he was so serious about it that he even said he'd be willing to pay just to make things right. Because to him, understanding each other, even just a little, was better than nothing at all. When 50 Cent sat down with the Breakfast Club, he made one thing very clear. He had zero interest in fixing things with Marquise. As far as he was concerned, there was no point in even trying. When Charlemagne brought up the idea of a sit-down, 50 shut it down immediately. He wasn't convinced that Marquise actually wanted to talk. In his eyes, if it was real, his son would reach out to him directly, not TMZ. He brushed it off, saying that Marquise was just looking for attention, and if that's what he wanted, he could have as much as he needed. 50 also believed that his son had been conditioned to think a certain way for years. He wasn't buying the idea that Marquise would just suddenly change his mind. In his words, people don't just wake up one day and stop believing what they've been taught their whole lives. And when it came to the entitlement issue, 50 doubled down. To him, it wasn't just Marquise being entitled, it was his mother's entitlement spilling over. He felt like no matter how much he gave, it was never enough. and at this point, he was done trying. When asked if he could ever be open to reconciling, 50 didn't hesitate. The answer was no. In his mind, that relationship was broken beyond repair. He even shared that for years, he had chased after Marquise, trying to make things work, but it was always one-sided. He recalled times when he would go places to meet up only for Marquise to leave before he got there. Then came the text messages that had been circulating online. 50 confirmed that they were real, but what people didn't know was that he wasn't actually texting Marquise. He was talking to Shaniqua. He claimed that his son's mother was the one texting him through Marquise's phone, and that's why some of the messages sounded rough, because in reality, he was responding to her, not his son. After 50's interview, Marquise took to Instagram to air out his frustration. He let everyone know that he had tried reaching out privately, but 50 had blocked him on everything. No phone number, no DMs, nothing. According to him, this wasn't just for the cameras. He also tried behind the scenes and still nothing. He also called out people close to both of them, saying that mutual friends and family were too scared to even bring up the situation because they didn't want to be on 50 Cent's bad side. At this point, he felt like publicly calling him out was the only way left to get a response. And after watching 50 Cent's Breakfast Club interview, Marquise wasn't impressed. To him, there was no accountability, just ego, blame, and making it all about money. He even flipped the script saying that 50 was acting like the child in this situation. Marquise also addressed the infamous text messages, confirming that he was the one sending them. He claimed that he was waiting outside for 50 that day, and when his dad didn't show up, that was the moment his heart broke. But despite everything, he said he forgave 50 Cent, and whenever his father is ready to talk, so is he. But with all the Big Meech and 50 Cent drama going on, it's looking like Marquise is back to his usual way of trying to get his father's attention by inserting himself into whatever mess 50 has going on. And 50 Cent? Yeah, he's not here for it. But what do you guys think? Is 50 Cent being too hard on his son, or is Marquise overstepping by getting involved in his father's issues? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and before you go, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss the latest drama just like this.